Hey, 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 how's it going, you guys? Hope you're having a happy Sunday. Um, Hopefully, you guys are feeling this beautiful full moon energy. It's a full moon in Libra, so we have this energy of balance, we have this energy of air. Um, but it doesn't feel like a stagnant air energy. It feels like a lot is moving, and it's a little bit windy here today, and that kind of carries the same energy of what's going on. Um, so we have movement, even if it's underneath the surface, even if you can't quite see it in the material world right now, you are aligning with what is meant to come in for you, what is destined on your path here. And you're really reanalyzing, reconnecting with yourself on a different level. Now, you might have a lot of synchronicities, a lot of signs and messages coming through. There's a really important connective energy and quality between soulmates, between twin flames, between soul bonds, those partnerships that have contracts where we come into this this 3D world, and we are meant to learn and grow together, and we really help and enhance each other's experience. And sometimes, of course, that can show up with the wounding aspects of ourselves. We're triggered to evolve, to change, to grow. Some people do, some people don't. Some people learn to be more flexible, and some people stay rigid. You might be having this question asked from the universe towards you right now. Are you willing to be more flexible? Are you willing to walk a different path? And you'll be having energies pulling at your heartstrings to communicate, to clear up any energies that you can. So where you do have the power to show up, where you do have the power to communicate, and show a little compassion and forgiveness, you're being called to do so at this time for yourself and for others, because the most important thing right now is that you are able to move forward with this healthy energy of an open heart. And if you have resentment, anger, grief, then it's more difficult to open your heart because you're still healing, you're still working with energies from the past. And what's happening right now is we're really looking at the energies of the past, excavating, going really deep, getting to the root of the matter, and then ideally we're letting go, we're surrendering, releasing ourselves from suffering or patterns or cycles of negative thinking, addictions, codependency, all those energies that have held us back. Could be people pleasing, seeking validation outside of ourselves. But honestly, the energies that have been holding us back or creating cyclical patterns in our life, we're really having this opportunity to relinquish and release them so that we can actually embody and receive that energy that we've always wanted. We just weren't in that vibrational frequency to actually maintain that energy. So we're really getting rid of the debris so that we can shine our brilliance in a way that, we're not as held back by other people's expectations, societal beliefs and systems that we don't really participate in, and yet we feel burdened by. And so releasing ourselves from those restrictions, releasing ourselves from that bondage energies that really originate outside of ourselves. So today, because there's so much energy between these connections and this communication, there's dreams, there's astral travel, there's telepathy, there's this energy of manifesting what we want from the 5D, from a place of alignment, from a place of positive expectation, and also neutrality. Hi, Kathy. That we can call that in and manifest it into form. And so that energy of the goddess, the energy of the masculine, really stepping into their power with confidence, with commitment, and going, okay, I'm ready to take action, and I'm also ready to receive. We are going to equally come together and make this movement, make this happen. We're going to meet each other halfway. So that's a really exciting energy. So I'm using all of my card decks today. So we're using the Sexy Siren Secrets, Shadow Fantasy Oracle, Soul Whispers, Kindred Spirit Level Oracle, and the Fantasy Oracle. Those are available to purchase online. You can do so with the link in the description below. If you'd like to make any donations, there's also a link below as well. And here's how I have kind of set it up for today. So we're going to go with, what is the Divine Masculine's messages to the feminine? What are the feminine's messages to the masculine? And, if you follow my channel, and most readers will say this, I don't want to have to continually preface this, but I will as I feel called to do so. It's just the energies of masculine and feminine. This can be non-binary. You can be a female and be resonating with the masculine side. You can be a masculine and resonating with the feminine side. It's just an energy. And so take it as it resonates to you. So we will be looking at the paired energy of the two as well. So let's get started and see what messages we have from Spirit to help us navigate this time where we have this very sensual, playful, lighthearted spring energy. We want to connect. We want to laugh. We want to play. We want to enjoy that sexual side of things as well. And so let's see what is going on. So let's get started with the general energies. What is going on with the masculine energy? So the masculine energy is working with animal spirit guides. So the masculine might have one predominant energy. Could be a bear animal totem, could be wolf animal totem. But the masculine is really tapping into the intuition and working with a very powerful totem at this time to help him or them navigate this energy through this really, really deep energy of extricating ourselves from the wounds of the past, really looking at our mistakes, looking at where we have, bowed away because of fear, where we have looked at things from a delusional perspective, meaning we didn't have all the facts, and or we were looking at things from a place of wounding. We were looking at things from a place of mistrust, and therefore creating and self-sabotaging. The masculine has been doing a lot of self-sabotaging. So really looking at that and having some accountability. This animal guide is helping the masculine be accountable for their actions and understand that you reap what you sow in a lot of ways. And even if you didn't mean to do it, you're still accountable for those actions. So let's see, from the Kindred Spirit Love Oracle, it says lack of boundaries. There's a lack of boundaries, which has created a loss of power and fear projections. When there are no boundaries, a power dynamic is created. Boundaries are a safe way to protect one's life force energy and move away from feeling powerless. So this masculine has a lack of boundaries, and it's really preventing them from growing their self-worth and being confident, because if you have a lack of boundaries and you accept anything that comes your way because you feel like that's attention or you're gaining something from it, even if it's minimal and or it's not really in alignment with you, you're actually sabotaging yourself again, because you're allowing yourself to be distracted because you're not valuing yourself enough to put up healthy boundaries. And so this could be the type of masculine energy where if any flirtation, any sign of advance or energies, that person would tend to be like, oh, well, they came onto me, they did this, they did that, and kind of skimming past the part where they allowed it, they accepted it, they participated in it, and that in and of itself was a decision, was a choice. So, that free kind of spirit, free love energy, it's not taking accountability for your actions. You made that choice, you made that decision, you get to receive the karma associated with that or the lessons associated with that, because having no boundaries is still a choice. Just like overgiving is still a choice. Unfortunately, it can be subconscious, But at this point, we're at the point where no excuses anymore. So animal spirit guides are helping the masculine see where their lack of boundaries and inability to say no is actually preventing them to say yes to what they really want. And so they're really recognizing how much they're underselling themselves for, just for, some, I guess, I don't know, just some shits and giggles, really. It's not important. They're not happy. They're not invested. They don't feel good. They don't feel like it's in alignment or correct. And yet they're still wavering on how to say no and get out of these situations. So an interesting energy for the masculine to be in. They really need to set some healthy boundaries and listen to their heart as well. So it's not all about the mental aspect of this. The masculine really needs to listen to their intuition, which is deeply connected to the heart. So what energy is the feminine in? So codependency, really, really looking at those codependent aspects. Where is their obsession? Where is there this rigid inflexibility to let go? Where is there an outcome that the feminine is attached to? Really releasing those energies, understanding where bondage was in the past, where it was, a connection of attachment, not this vulnerability and or surrender energy, but it was truly also kind of manipulative energy because you're trying to control an outcome. And so that could include, it can include love bombing. It can include overgiving, like I mentioned before. Just the feminine is really learning her value as well. So she's a little bit further ahead in terms of boundaries than the masculine, but she's also standing her ground in those boundaries. So those boundaries are being tested now, whereas they weren't really before, because she didn't really have as strong of boundaries. But now they're being tested, and she's really realizing how far she's come in terms of moving away from this codependency, but still acknowledging that there has to be more flexibility, there has to be more surrender, and inviting the aligned energies to her instead of chasing, instead of diminishing her light, making herself smaller to meet someone else. She's letting other people rise and be in their own confidence and be in their own power and come to her, rather than coddling or making it easier for other people to access her, because she's starting to realize her value and her worth, which is helping the masculine also go, okay, I see why you did what you did. Now I see where, I pushed too far, or I was taking too much, or whatnot. So let's get the clarifying card for here. Divine union. So the feminine, as she's deconstructing this codependency energy, is coming to union with herself, which allows her to be so magnetic and attractive to, this equal divine partner that is also wanting the same thing. So it says this is a beautiful soul bond based in raising your frequency in this lifetime. That means getting rid of debris. That means breaking the pattern of codependency once and for all. It is a connection of self-mastery. It will challenge you in deeply humbling and often painful ways to evolve outside of your comfort zone. This soul has deep love for you, and there is a contract in place to assist both souls' spiritual evolution. Seek higher vision in lower energies of this connection, and remember, separation is an illusion. So there's a very deep connection that the feminine feels underneath it all. And when she's in her 3D energy, it's easy to feel the energy of separation, feel the energy of fear, feel the energy of doubt. So what she has to do is stay in her divine frequency, stay in her own alignment, and not be distracted by the energies of others. And that includes her divine partner, because that divine partnership is a blessed union and is designed, with that contract in place to help her evolve. But it's an equal energy of evolving and meeting each other halfway. And so she knows that she has to invite and be ready to receive. She can't go chasing anything. So she's acknowledging this divine union, whereas the other partner so far in the cards It's not showing that energy yet. They're still working on themselves. They're still navigating their own personal boundaries, not so much connected into the actual divine connection between them. So let's see, what is the divine feminine's messages to the masculine? Yes. So, she knows that it's out of her control. So it's, the feminine is acknowledging there's nothing more that she can do. All she can do is be the highest version of herself, really focus on herself, continue to work towards her purpose, continue to elevate her frequency, but it's out of her control. And so there's also this element too of her hinting to the divine masculine, it might be out of your control too. Like, let it happen. Allow it to flow. Stop resisting. Stop fighting this. There is a divine connection here if you would only acknowledge it. And so the masculine is perhaps feeling like they want to be in control, want to still be kind of manipulating the energies, hasn't exactly surrendered yet. And the clarifying energy for that out of control energy, and it might feel for the feminine like a little bit of a powerless energy. However, that's the lower energy of how you can view this. So you have to go to the higher perspective and say, okay, it's out of my control. It's not my burden, not my responsibility. So great. What do you want to focus on instead of the divine partnership? If you are focusing on that too much, it's coming to you. All you need to do is be yourself and believe that you are attracting that energy to you in the perfect and right time. And then it is coming to you and will meet you at your vibrational match. You're not going, to be moving around because you're working on your consistency in that energy. So what you're looking at too is what options do you have? You're essentially listening to the universe, listening, watching, and paying very close attention to the signs, synchronicities that the universe is opening up for you. You're focused on new doors, new pathways, new communication, new ways of seeing things. You're not so connected on what happened in the past. And so this energy you're releasing where this felt tragic, where there was grief, there was anger, resentment, you're moving past those and looking into the options that life is illuminating for you. And since we have, it's a full moon reading right now, we have this full moon energy. So what is this time illuminating for you? What are your priorities? Where are you going to redirect some energy that, you want to move into a different area moving forward? What options do you have? Continue to look at your possibilities. And so what message is the masculine sending to the feminine? Let's do, okay. So the masculine is exhausted right now. They, I think a lot of the masculine energies want to come forward, want to be ready. They might be feeling a little impatient with themselves because they do want to reach out. They do want to communicate. They do want to start dating again, or talk to you, communicate with you if they have their eye on you particularly. They're just feeling exhausted. They don't feel like it's the right time, at the moment. They might be preparing. They might be aligning their energies. If they do want to communicate or want to move forward, they're, planning and hopefully in an aligned energy where they know they have to come in their highest regard and not play games or anything like that. So they're really taking their time here to make sure that they're on solid ground before they move towards you. But they are saying to the feminine energies, I am exhausted. Like, I have barely any energy to work with. I wish it wasn't so, but this is the energy that is, in my sphere right now. And to clarify that, we have autumn. It's interesting. Both of these figures are kind of lying down and tired. So, I think it was a tough fall And that could be a fall from grace, the tower energy as well. But tough fall for the masculine here. Really recovering energies from, November, December, January are really tough learning curves for the masculine. Some big karmic lessons, big realizations. And it's deep. Like, nobody likes to go through the dark night of the soul. The feminine isn't like, yay, I'm so happy I was deconstructed into, raw pieces of sinew and muscle and bone and pecked, away by vultures and then reborn. Like, the feminine's not in this energy where there's a superiority energy. She's been battling, on her own for her own highest and best, for her own learning. Yes, she may have been connected to a deeper understanding of a divine union energy coming in or here for her. But she's not looking at the masculine and going like, maybe at certain times, but overall in that healthier energy, that balanced energy, she's just rooting for the masculine, right? She's going, okay, you can do this. Like, you have the leadership skills, you have the ability to take accountability, to be confident, to move through this energy just like I did. And so there might be some back and forth telepathy as each one goes through like anger and releasing and purging, because the feminine just went through a lot of purging of emotions due to this out of control energy. And so whatever emotions she repressed from the past relationships, past encounters, whatever was in her heart, making or contributing to a feeling of bondage or restriction, she's just gone through that. The masculine is also going through this repressed emotional energy. So what have I repressed? What have I been trying to avoid? Where have I been like hiding things from myself, hiding the truth from myself? So a really, really important energy here for the feminine to acknowledge is that the masculine is just so tired right now, really tired. So that might be why there might be a little bit of a delay in this connection, and why you're urged to continue to, maintain a balanced energy and focus on yourself and focus on that open heart, because that grief, that codependency, working on boundaries, man, can that ever close down your heart chakra? Just shuts it right down, because you're in your pain, you're in your trauma body, you're looking at everything that didn't go your way, you're looking at mistakes you made, you're looking at where, certain choices led you, you're looking at exactly where you are. And that could be a positive or negative for you, but it takes a lot of energy. So you're both energetically recovering from a deep, deep level of introspection, right? The Hierophant, the Hermit, the Hanged Man, really deep introspection here. So your soul is tired, but you're also so excited for this new stage, this new step. There's this energy of what if, there's this energy of excitement about what that divine union can actually mean, what it would mean to actually be able to embody the energy you've called in so that you can maintain it, so that it stays in your sphere and you are able to work on it as an equal partnership instead of one person deciding that they're not interested or being non-committal or anything, and the energy is kind of oscillating, really putting a stop to any of that energy. It's a steady, calm energy, because what we've done here between the two and in the 5D working together is create a strong foundation for each to move forward and for each counterpart to be stable within themselves. So they're not looking as much for anything outside of themselves to provide what they can give themselves, which is self-love, self-confidence, security, all of those things. So what's the combined energy between the two? What are they both, the energy that they're both in right now? Light the way. So, okay, the world was destroyed. The tower came down. we've seen elements of the truth of ourselves, of another. We see the realities, but we're also in our heart, we also have this energy of that union, that connectivity. What can it be? What are the possibilities now that I've evolved, now that I've changed, and that I'm moving towards a healthier version of relationship, of companionship, of connection, and taking responsibility in a way that I've never done before for showing up in partnership, communicating clearly, being emotionally available, being emotionally open and vulnerable, and also having really powerful, healthy, strong boundaries. So that is included in the clear communication, because if you don't have any boundaries, there's nothing to protect, there's nothing to kind of reinforce in terms of your value or your worth. So it goes hand in hand, clearly communicating and healthy boundaries. So, both are being asked to light the way, show up in your power, in your strength, because you are different. You are meant to do something different with your life. If you are an outlier, a black sheep, psychedelic sheep, you're not meant to be like everyone else. You're not meant to go the same way everyone else does. You're meant to shine your light. You're meant to communicate the way you see the world, the way you experience the world, and the way the world has been experienced through you. So it's a really beautiful revelation here that you do have the power to light the way forward. And you see the rubble, you see the destruction, and you're still going to move forward and light the way. So between the two, healthy boundaries, this is what we've been talking about. You have moved from having no boundaries to developing healthy ones. You have stood your ground and refused to settle. Keep your standards high and know this is your sacred right to protect your life force. So before, both the feminine and the masculine had really, really kind of faulty boundaries. The masculine would just accept anything and everything and not take responsibility for making the choice of what they allowed into their life. And the feminine would just give. And this could be reversed, remember, and didn't take accountability for overgiving and not knowing when to say no and or to stop, right? So both of the partners need to know when to say no, because if you can't say no, then you really can't say a fuck yes either, right? If you just accept anything and everything that comes your way, you're like, there's a sense of filtering what is good for you. So if something is not good for you, release it. If you've made a mistake, apologize. Or if you need to be accountable, take accountability. Start standing in your power and move forward. Light the way, okay? Be the person that you want to be in this, all right? Not the person that you've been, right? Or that you don't want to be. Focus on who you want to be in this moment, who you want to be moving forward. And that's a really good kind of sign and message from Spirit, that Spirit is seeing. Like, the feminine had codependency and the masculine had lack of boundaries. And those are both involved in not having proper boundaries. So that in and of itself, I think, is one of the biggest aspects of the cyclical pattern that we're breaking, because now the partners can come in on equal ground. One's not better than the other. It's not a competitive energy. It's not you're right, I'm wrong. It's not, I have to be in the power role, or I have to have control, or I have to manipulate, or we're going to play games with each other. We're going to withhold, not be true with our emotions. No, it all has to come out. It all has to be put on the table. It has to be visible, has to be clear. Everything has to be transparent and honest. Those boundaries are there for a reason. And it might be slow going, but we are moving forward, lighting the way. We have the torch. It is lit. We're moving forward. Okay. So what message does the masculine have to the feminine from the Soul Whispers? I am sorry for lying to you out of my own insecurity and fear around love. So the masculine, there's different levels of lying, right? So the masculine could have lied on a grander scale, and you might find this information out. It might affect how you view the partnership, how you view the masculine. But the masculine could have also lied about their feelings, the depth of their feelings. That's one of the things that has come up in the past for the masculine energy, is that they were really not great at communicating their emotions. Now, the feminine also needed work on that, to be clear and not to be silent, to hold her ground and stand her worth as well. But the masculine is saying that there is a lie here. There was a lack of transparency. There was a lack of honesty. And that did come from insecurity and fear around love. So fear of commitment, fear of vulnerability, fear of being attached, because once you're attached, you can be hurt. As soon as you say, I love you so much, that person has the power to hurt you. But the masculine is actually coming into the energy where he's, going to be confident enough to face rejection. And that is huge. The feminine's been there before. The feminine has faced rejection, taken risks. And this time around, she's kind of going, no, I could. I know I can. But it's time to receive. It's time for me to receive this energy. And the masculine is gaining confidence and courage and bravery and really working on recharging and being a healthy version of himself. And so working through those fears and insecurities around love, that's the only way that they can come forward to you in an honest way in which, their guides, your higher self are going to allow that to occur. It's got to be right. You got to come in right or not at all. So that's his message to her. What's her message to the masculine? I didn't value myself, so I couldn't value you. So, in that energy of codependency, sometimes what happens is, if you are over giving, that other person can feel really loved. And at first, wow, it's like this influx of energy. But then if a person already has trust issues, then they're going to be going, okay, how come you're giving all this love to me? And if they're not secure, they're going to be asking what's wrong with you for loving them so much or valuing them so much. And if they are treating you poorly, and that codependent energy allows you to stay there for too long because your boundaries weren't quite up to par, you didn't value yourself. So you allowed that treatment, right? Just the same as their insecurity allowed them to lie about the depth of their feelings and or lie about where they actually were. And this this sounds like and seems like this is explaining an energy connection from the past, but it could also apply to a new person coming in that's also been a part of a dynamic that kind of mimics what you have been through with someone as well. So they've been through these energies as well too. But the feminine definitely didn't value herself, and so didn't truly value the masculine. And that was one of the mistakes. That was one of the sort of self-sabotaging energies or subconscious energies that contributed to the tower and the downfall from the feminine side. So they both had insecurity issues. They both had fears that were really dominating the scene, the landscape. And that's why it had to come crashing down. That's why everything had to be reevaluated. Because that pattern of no boundaries, codependency, power plays, manipulation, control, that all had to be destroyed so that you can actually come through with no fear of love, no fear of commitment, no fear of attachment, to know that you're okay on your own, to know that you can have healthy boundaries and ask for what you want, that you don't need to be afraid. And the manipulation and control, the mind games, that only comes in when you're afraid of the truth, right? You're afraid of what the actual result is if you just be yourself. And so it'll be interesting moving forward with the masculine being authentic and bringing in honest energy, maybe coming clean about any lies or deceptions, because it's worth it. That risk is worth it. And the feminine now valuing herself, so acknowledging that she can actually value her partner now in a more authentic way. Doesn't need to overgive, because she values herself enough to receive equal energy from whoever is in her sphere. So, sexy Simon secrets. What's the masculine's energy towards the feminine? Your self-love, self-care, and the way you value yourself turns me the fuck on. So, if they're, energetically connected, or they're watching you on social media, or just maybe, asking through a friend, how is so-and-so doing? They're loving the fact that you are doing you and doing so with style. They're loving the fact that you're breaking through your own fears. You're taking responsibility for your side of things and not just blaming them. They're really, really excited for you to be successful and moving forward in your power too. So that's really, really cool that the masculine is saying, your confidence turns me on. And the second one is spank me like I've been naughty. Take my panties off with your teeth and taste my eternity. So I guess the masculine wants to do that to you, wants to spank you and take your panties off if you're wearing them. Anyway, so there is this sexual energy. There's this playful energy, because it's like we've been through enough. Both counterparts want to play again. They want to have fun. They want to laugh. They want to explore, have dinner, have quiet nights in, or whatever it is. But there's definitely this sexual energy as well. Could be dream time too. You could be dreaming of your person, or just kind of daydreaming too, and being like, okay, like, I could go for that. So what does the feminine have to say to their the masculine counterpart? Your sexiness pulls at my heartstrings and tantalizes me to juicy longing. So there's this energy of longing. There could be a musical connection too. Your person could play a musical instrument, or there could be a lot of messages coming through songs on the radio or song choices. But definitely this person plays at your heartstrings. Like you just love the music of their soul. So that's a message to the divine masculine. If there's cross watchers or you're watching, wondering what your feminine's thinking. And I wish I were on top of you right now, rocking you into sweet oblivion. So there is definitely this sexual passion, this longing. Both partners and counterparts, they want to be through this. Neither of them are satisfied being in the hanged man energy. They were rip-roaring, ready to go. But they are surrendering to divine timing, surrendering to the divine blockages, knowing that it's shaping them for that, alignment coming into union here, because it has to be clean, it has to be healthy, it has to be clear, open communication, strong boundaries, transparency. So there's really a lot going on underneath the surface, but there's a lot of energetic communication between the two. And there are those heavy energies coming through, but there's also this energy of consistency and peace here. So I don't feel like either are really blaming, shaming, and just tossing energy towards the other person. There's this kind of gentle resignation energy going, okay, I'm responsible for me. And that's what I'm focusing on. So there we go. Those are the messages that are coming through. And if you're watching, I can pull a private card for you. And just put yes, please in the comments, and I'll pull a card for you. And we'll see, particularly if there's any messages coming through. Otherwise, as I said, if you've enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. Just helps me grow the channel. And you can also find me on Facebook, Kindred Heart Tarot. You can find me on IG at Mollie Kindred. And we'll see what happens. But really exciting energies for partnership, for romance, for soul bonds, soul connections. All around, there's just really positive energy after a lot of exhaustion, a lot of confusion. So Kathy, let's pull from the Galactic Goth, because I didn't pull from that one. That's my other card deck. There we go. And let's get one from my Kindred Spirit Love Oracle. If you're looking for a deck to purchase, the Kindred Spirit Love Oracle is a romance deck. So you can either buy it with the gold gilt, or you can buy it without the gold gilt, but they're both the same deck. So they have the same messages. All right. So for Kathy, awakening. So you are going to the next level. You are waking up in a new way. The old is no longer serving you, and you're really letting go of old aspects of yourself, thought systems, belief patterns, worn out energy cycles. It's really less to do with like material things. It has so much to do with your heart, your mental go-tos. So you're really kind of like weeding the mental garden and really looking at things from a totally different perspective. There is an awakening within you. You're moving to a whole another soul level. And within that, we have unconditional self-love. I love it. You have allowed yourself to break free from attachments, breaking the cycle of the need to control. Through trials and tribulations, you were able to detach from permanence and flow with the energy of life as it naturally progresses in life, death, and rebirth cycles. So you are totally rebirthing. And not only that, this is actually a really powerful card. What it's saying is you're unconditionally loving yourself through the ups and downs of life. So you can see that even when you are getting attached to something, then you're going, okay, like I need to have compassion and forgiveness for myself, because that's human to get attached. But you're also aware, and that's part of the awakening. You're aware that the surrender and going with the flow is so much more powerful, and it doesn't feel like a burden. So when you're attached to the outcome, or you're attached to this conditioning or manipulating, it feels heavy. It feels like a burden. When we're not expressing our truth, when we're not being honest about how we feel, it feels heavy. It feels like a burden. So Spirit is really, asking everybody to be honest with how you feel, be honest with where you are, and be honest with where you want to go. So really powerful, beautiful message for you there, Kathy. All right. So if anybody else wants a card, I will pull one for you. If not, I hope you have an amazing rest of your afternoon, and I will catch up with you soon. You can catch some smaller card pulls on my IG. Usually I just do one in the morning or in the evening. And so you can see little bits and pieces throughout the week. And I think let's leave it there. Happy full moon. Full moon, definitely illuminating things. It's a good time for release as well, and just taking stock of everything that's on your plate. But try relaxing too. And if you want to smudge, do ritual, remember you can clear your crystals on a full moon as well. Charge them up. So this is a good time to recharge too. I'm feeling more of that than the releasing energy with this full moon. Go out there and recharge in the ways that are the healthiest for you. Okay, thanks guys. We'll catch you next time. Ciao for now. Bye.